Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well, and I hope everyone will have a wonderful Shabbos. This week's pre-Shabbos video of our Torah is sponsored by Jody and Kevin Kaufman, in memory of Kevin's father, Herb Kaufman, Tzvi ben Chanan Zechorna Livracha, whose 30th yortzeit is the 26th of Iyar, which is today, Friday. His neshama should have an aliyah, and we thank Jody and Kevin for sponsoring this video of our Torah. This week's Parsha Bechukotai includes the Tochacha, the curses, the extremely harsh rebuke and warning to the Jewish people that Hashem tells them that if they do not follow the ways of the Torah, then there is a risk, there is a danger that the land of Israel will be conquered and they'll be exiled, that the Beis Hamikdash, the temple, the sanctuary will be destroyed, and many more harsh punishments and suffering that the Jewish people may face. And unfortunately, these verses became true. More than once, the land of Israel was conquered by enemies, the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, the Jewish people suffered greatly. And the Talmud records a fundamental dispute, an argument regarding those periods of destruction. When the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, when Yerushalayim was overrun, did that cancel, at least temporarily, its sanctity, its Kedusha? Do we say that it is impossible for the Beis Hamikdash and that place, Har HaBayis, to be in a state of sanctity when it is under the control of pagans who desecrate it, and thus its sanctity is temporarily canceled? There's no prohibition for anyone to walk on it. There'd be no prohibition regarding the sanctity of the land of Israel to work on the land in a year of Shemitah. There'd be no mitzvah of Truma, Meiser, etc. Or no, do we say that despite everything, even in a state of destruction, it remains holy? That is a halachic statement, but that is obviously a theological statement as well. That maybe we cannot act on it, maybe it's even being desecrated actively as we speak, but yet it remains holy. The Rambam writes strongly that when it comes to Yerushalayim, the holy city, and the Beis Hamikdash, its sanctity from once it was sanctified in the days of David and Shlomo, from that point on, its sanctity can never be revoked, even temporarily, even in a state of destruction, it remains holy. V'lama ani omer b'mikdash v'Yerushalayim, Kedusha Rishona Kidsha Lastilavo. And why do I say when it comes to Yerushalayim Beis Hamikdash that its sanctity remains forever, it endures, it can never be canceled, even for a moment? Why is that? Lefisha Kedusha Hamikdash Yerushalayim Ifnei Shechina U'Shechina Eina Batela. Its sanctity is rooted in the divine presence which dwells in Yerushalayim, the Beis Hamikdash, and that no enemy can remove. A building, even the Beis Hamikdash, can be destroyed, but Hashem's presence remains. And in addition, and here he cites a derivation from a verse in our parsha, a drasha from Chazal. V'harei Omer, for the pasuk says, "V'hashimosi es mikdashechem," and I will make desolate your temples, your sanctuaries. That is what the pasuk says. V'amrucham, and yet the sages have an incredible reading. Af al pi sheshemumim b'kedushasam heimomdim. Even if they are desolate, they remain holy. Hashem really makes our sanctuaries desolate, but they remain sanctuaries. This actually is quoted in a Mishnah and Maseches Megillah, and there the context is actually talking about shuls. That even if a shul falls into disuse, even if it is quote-unquote desolate, it retains the status of a Beit Knesset and the holiness that that implies. But the Ram here cites it with regards to the Beis Hamikdash, which is the original meaning of the pasuk, Vashimosis Mikdashecha. Now the question is, where did our sages see that in this verse? And I will make desolate their sanctuaries. Where does that imply that they remain holy? I present you two suggestions. The first is, if we read the entire pasuk in context, it says, "V'nasati es arechem charba," and I will make your cities charba, destroyed. V'hashimosi es mikdashechem, and I'll make your sanctuaries, your temples desolate. Perhaps Chazal, in that contrast, saw that Hashimosi, desolate just means empty, means no one is there, but it's not as strong of a language as destroyed. The general cities, Jewish populations, unfortunately, were destroyed, the physical structures of the nation and land of Israel, but its Mikdashechem, its sanctuaries, were merely made desolate. They were empty, there were ghosts in them for years, for centuries, for millennia, but they remained holy. Another suggestion is Vashimosis Mikdashechem. If you listen carefully, That is a plural word, mikdashechem, your sanctuaries. But there's only one mikdash. There's only one Beis HaMikdash standing at a time. And so, alluded to in this verse, Vashimosis mikdashechem, and I will destroy your sanctuaries. Not one, but two. It's a double threat, but it also means that if one is destroyed, implicitly a new one will be rebuilt, and that one also is threatened if the Jewish people do not follow the ways of the Torah, but there will be another one rebuilt, and implicitly that means that the potential in the Kedusha remains. The structure will be rebuilt, but the Kedusha lasts forever. Whether or not, or however we derive it from this verse, this certainly is the thrust of the Tocha. After this most horrible Tochacha, the Torah nevertheless concludes, V'zacharti et briti Yaakov, v'afet briti Yitzchak, v'afet briti Avraham eskor, v'ha'aretz eskor. Hashem says, ultimately in the end, I will remember you, I will remember the land, I will bring you back, I will restore you as a people, I will rebuild the land, you will rebuild the Beis HaMikdash. This Sunday will be Chav Chad Iyar, will be the 28th day of Iyar, which is Yom Yerushalayim, the day that we celebrate, we sing Hallel and thank Hashem for that day in the Six-Day War when the Jewish people recaptured Yerushalayim, that until that point, for that period of time between 1948 and 1967, it was in the hands of the Jordans. It was mistreated, and yet we recaptured it. We recaptured the old city of Yerushalayim, the Kotel, all of the holy sites. And since that day, Yerushalayim has only grown, has only strengthened, and now it is this beautiful Jewish city filled with Jewish people, living Jewish lives, studying Torah, being proud Israelis, and bringing glory to the city and to the land of Israel. This Shabbos, we read the Tochacha. And when we hear the Tochacha, we're supposed to listen to it and think about what it's saying. And its words are quite scary. And it's meant to serve as a rebuke. It is meant to scare us. It is meant to make us realize how real the Torah is in observing mitzvos and the ramifications both for the blessings which are in the Parsha and also for punishments. And it's meant to scare us. But also today, in the year 2022, we read the Tochacha, we listen to it. And we also think that tragically, all of these verses have already come true. And we are here. Hashem did fulfill the rebuke, the curses, the threats, and he fulfilled V'zacharti et briti Avraham. He did remember the covenant. We have come back to Israel and to Yerushalayim. The city is rebuilt and is glorious, is beautiful. We still are Hashem's chosen people, no matter the challenge, no matter the punishment, no matter the exile. Hashem has never forgotten us. And therefore, in a strange way, it is possible to listen to the Tochacha, to hear these difficult words, and yet emerge from it stronger, with even a stronger belief in Hashem and his commitment to the Jewish people. Good Shabbos, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom.